When I first started up Hordes of Hunger, the visuals and the massive swarms of enemies instantly made me think of Lord of the Rings Return of the King on PS2. But after playing it, I feel like this was kind of a missed opportunity to bring back that classic, beloved style of action game that has been missing for a long time now. Instead of leaning into a deep story or pure action gameplay, they went with a hybrid that's a lot closer to Diablo meets a bullet heaven game. But before we get into it, quick shout out to Keymailer and the developer for giving me a free key to this game. I have to say it's a very interesting game. Some parts of it are really good, but the problem is it takes way too long to get there. In the beginning, the game is pretty difficult, and that's because you have a lack of skills to choose from when you're leveling up. That and the fact that you're basically going to be fighting to figure out the camera system when it first starts, because it's got issues. The controls for running are not great either. To explain that a bit, instead of a full 360 degree movement, it basically runs on an 8-point system like north, east, west, south, and then of course northwest and southwest and all of that. And it's a rare thing these days. Most games don't do this. So basically, to have full smooth movement of the controls, you have to use the manual camera system and turn with it, not with the analog stick for the actual character movement. It's a bit of an oddity, especially in an action game, and it makes it feel like you're having to play a first-person shooter instead. On top of all that, the game does one thing that kind of takes away from it. Instead of just a normal loot system, you have to farm parts to craft weapons, which is kind of decent, but it also has its issues. If you fail a mission, you lose what you just spent time collecting. It feels like the game fights you more than it should for something aiming for that bullet heaven style approach. Now on the graphics side of things, it's pretty good. It's not groundbreaking, and it's also not ugly or terrible looking. It's just a nice clean visual game, but like a lot of games that have this type of look, some of the things do blend together a bit too much, especially with the auto camera system, which is another reason why you want to use the manual camera. But as far as the art style and the variety of the levels, there's quite a bit of variety to it. Cathedrals, swamps, villages that you can tell used to be beautiful places, but they have been completely destroyed by the Hordes. And there is quite a bit of variety to the mission structure and gameplay. So every map has its own set of missions, and they are random for the most part. But as you go through each stage, you find characters that you help out. They go back to your home base, and then they can give you quests if you keep talking to them over and over each time you do a mission, which opens up more variety inside of the missions that you have already done. But that's also one of the things that kind of makes it more frustrating for me as well, because I feel like they could have really explored these worlds and levels in a more cinematic fashion like Lord of the Rings Return of the King was. I feel like this game could have been far better than what it is. And that's not saying it's bad, because it's not. It's kind of a mid-tier game. The best way I would put this, if you have ever rented a game before, you know the difference between a game that is worth renting and a game that is worth buying. Now luckily this game is fairly cheap, but I would say that it is a rental style game, where if you play through it for a week, you'd be satisfied with it. But if it was something that you had to spend $50 or $60 on, that would be a different story. But that is also why I love indie games like this so much, because they are not charging you an arm and a leg for these more focused, smaller type games. And I know it sounds like I'm being mostly negative on the game, but that's not exactly how I feel about it. I still find myself continuing to go back and play it. I want to get better weapons, I want to unlock everything that the game has to offer. Which is strange, because that means I am actively fighting against the parts that I don't like, but the parts that I do like are enough to sway me more on the side of enjoying it than not enjoying it. Because once you get further into it, and the more abilities you get and the better weapons you have, it becomes a lot more fun. It just takes too long to get to that point. And most people are going to get burnt out before they get there. But as always, the choice is yours. Are you going to play or pass on Hordes of Hunger? Thanks for watching. Would you kindly leave a like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.